I wouldn't say I have a lack of fear. In fact, I'd like my fear emotion to be less because it's very distracting and fries my nervous system. If you're trying to create a company, it's like baking a cake. You have to have all the ingredients in the right proportion. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I think that's the single best piece of advice. Constantly think about how you could be doing things better and questioning yourself. It's okay to have your eggs in one basket as long as you control what happens to that basket. People should pursue what they're passionate about. That will make them happier than pretty much anything else. I think there should be regulations on social media to the degree that it negatively affects the public good. We're already cyborgs. Your phone and your computer are extensions of you, but the interface is through finger movements or speech, which are very slow. Really, the only thing that makes sense is to strive for greater collective enlightenment. I will never be happy without having someone. Going to sleep alone kills me. We can't have, like, willy-nilly proliferation of fake news. That's crazy. You can't have more types of fake news than real news. That's allowing public deception to go unchecked. That's crazy. If you go back a few hundred years, what we take for granted today would seem like magic, being able to talk to people over long distances, to transmit images, flying, accessing vast amounts of data like an oracle. These are all things that would have been considered magic a few hundred years ago. When I was a child, there's one thing I said: I never want to be alone. That's what I would say. I don't want to be alone. There's a silly notion that failure's not an option at NASA. Failure is an option here. If things are not failing, you are not innovating enough. If I'm not in love, if I'm not with a long-term companion, I cannot be happy. With artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon. You know all those stories where there's the guy with the pentagram in the holy water, and he's like, yeah, he's sure he can control the demon? Doesn't work out. Man has the power to act as his own destroyer, and that is the way he has acted through most of his history. I've actually not read any books on time management. I'm a Silicon Valley guy. I just think people from Silicon Valley can do anything. I'm anti-tax, but I'm pro-carbon tax. I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a rocket company, it was crazy. I think it's very important to have a feedback loop, where you're constantly thinking about what you've done and how you could be doing it better. I usually describe myself as an engineer. That's basically what I've been doing since I was a kid. What most people know but don't realize they know is that the world is almost entirely solar-powered already. If the sun wasn't there, we'd be a frozen ice ball at 3 degrees Kelvin, and the sun powers the entire system of precipitation. The whole ecosystem is solar-powered. On one of the SpaceX flights, we had a secret payload, a wheel of cheese. We flew to orbit and brought it back, so it was the world's first space cheese. It was, in part, a tribute to Monty Python. I just want to retire before I go senile, because if I don't retire before I go senile, then I'll do more damage than good at that point.